Hi guys! How are you all? This is FJ What If. Today we are going to see what if Naruto has 10-tailed and Susanoo in Chunnin exam part 1. Before we start the episode, please like, subscribe and comment for this video. Well, this is one story idea that wouldn't go away until I wrote about it. I'll go ahead and admit a lot of what happens here is canon but kinda sets the premise for the story. Basically in canon we have the Kyuubi who after he was released was taken control of by Toby, and was always bitching to Naruto about freeing him, but here's the thing. To be taken control you had to go through the host first, so in essence the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki was pretty much protecting him from being controlled by the Sharingan, but he never saw it that way. Basically this story is what if he had felt that way the whole time instead of just raging that he was in a cage. What if Kyuubi and Kushina actually got along well? What if, knowing that Toby would come back for him, Kyuubi decided to help Naruto in memory of his parents? And what if, instead of hating Kyuubi as he did in canon, Naruto felt that Kyuubi was the only one who was always there for him? That's pretty much what this story is about. Kyuubi, Kurama, summons speaking Kyuubi, Kurama, summons thinking in a secluded cave near Konoha, Wow. It hurrs. That was the wail of one Kushina Uzumaki, the current host of the Kyuubi. She was currently giving birth to her son Naruto. Calm down, Kushina yelling isn't going to make it go any faster. It's just going to alert everyone in a 5-mile radius that you're giving birth. Shut up, Kurama, before I chain you up again. You have no idea how much this hurts. I bet that if you hadn't enhanced the Uzumaki bloodline it wouldn't be hurting this much. Even though the Kyuubi was an entity of near infinite power, it still didn't want to be chained up again, so it shut up as it recalled how the pain was in a way partially its fault. Flashback no jutsu, in some place that has no impact to the story. Kushina, there is something I want to talk to you and Minato-san about later. Okay, even though Kushina and Kurama didn't talk much unless it was important, they still had some sort of respect for each other to the point where they were on a first-name basis, so when Kurama actually did want to talk to Kushina or Minato they knew it was important. Line break in Kushina's mindscape. So what did you want to talk to us about, Kurama-san? A man with bright yellow spiky hair asked. Yeah. Usually you don't want to talk to us much unless it's important. It's about your son. What? Is something wrong with Naruto-chan? What is it? Kushina asked on the verge of panic. Even though she had only carried the child for a few months, both she and Minato already loved him. Calm down, Kushina-chan, I'm sure if it was something like that Kurama-san would have taken care of it himself. Minato calmly interjected, stopping his wife from working herself into a fit. Indeed, if it was something like that I would have taken care of it myself without informing you, as there would be no need. This is something of a more personal choice. Oh, well, what is it? Your child will have a very weak Uzumaki bloodline. Even though Kushina cared about her almost dead clan, it wasn't something she really worried about that much. She could just have another child, and she was planning on slowly restarting the Uzumaki clan in time rather than having to be part of the Clan Restoration Act. Her status as a Jinchuriki put an emphasis on her continued mental health, something having multiple husbands could easily disrupt. I'm sorry, but I don't really understand why that would be a problem. I wasn't finished. Having a weaker version of their bloodline, his chakra won't be potent enough to counteract my ambient chakra running through Kushina's body. Because of this he will most likely have whisker marks. Now that was something that gave them pause. While many Jinchuriki are given some ability due to their Biju without having to directly tap into their chakra, almost none of them had any distinguishing physical markers like facial markings. The whisker marks associated with the Kyuubi's chakra were due to the Gold and Silver brothers. The Gold and Silver brothers Ginkaku and Kinkaku were two Kyumo shinobi who tried to take the Kyuubi for Kyumo. They were eaten but survived by eating the Kyuubi's stomach meat. In doing so they also absorbed some of his chakra, which caused the tips of their hair to turn black and whisker marks to form on their cheeks. Because of this the Kyuubi's chakra began becoming associated. The whisker mark on their cheeks formed by some of the corrosive effects of the Kyuubi's chakra. The reason Uzumaki Mito and Uzumaki Kushina didn't have any were because the powerful chakra of the Uzumakis were able to resist the corrosive properties of the Kyuubi's chakra. While they would form if they tapped into enough of its chakra, other than that there would be no constant physical markers. Kushina-chan, that would be like painting a target on Naruto's back. Even though the Hokage's son would definitely be watched carefully, there was no guarantee that someone couldn't slip through to try to obtain the Uzumaki bloodline. It had already happened once. I know, Minato-kun, but what do we do? That is why I called you down here. What do you mean, Kurama-san? Minato asked, unsure what they could do in this situation. Due to having been sealed in 2 Uzumakis, now I have a decent idea of their genetic makeup. I could manipulate your child's genetic structure so that his Uzumaki genes would become dominate, however that would open up a new host of problems. What do you mean, Kurama? Wouldn't it just cause his chakra to become stronger? Kushina asked. She understood why the Kyuubi wouldn't make this change by itself, but she didn't understand what other problem it would cause. No. Minato wasn't hailed as a genius for no reason. The gears in his mind were already turning. It would also cause his physical appearance to change, his chakra would become stronger, but it would also cause his hair to turn red, am I right? Indeed, once again you prove your position as the brains of the relationship. Kyuubi said, ignoring Kushina's indignant squawk. Minato picked up where he left off. That means Kumo might try to kidnap Naruto for their bloodline program, like what they tried to do for you, Kushina-chan. Minato concluded with a frown, remembering the events that lead to Kushina's almost kidnapping. Silence reigned as both Kushina and Minato processed what this meant. There's no contest. While Naruto having the Uzumaki physical traits would make him a target for Kumo, his whisker marks would make him a target for every power-hungry village out there that would believe he held the Kyuubi. Not only that, but there was also a chance that some enemy village would put together that Kushina was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi if they got a hold of Naruto and found out he didn't have the Kyuubi. As much as I don't like it, I agree with Minato on this point. Do it. Very well. Consider this my baby shower present to you too. As Kushina and Minato began to fade from the mindscape, Kurama smirked and added almost as an afterthought. Ah yes, by the way, this will probably make childbirth even more painful than it already would be because of my chakra also being in the womb. Just for your information. In the real world, AAA. End flashback. No jutsu. Do you think she'll be okay? Minato asked nervously as he worked to repair the seal. Kurama wasn't trying to break out, but the seal was still collapsing. Of course. Sarutobi Biwako exclaimed. This kind of pain would kill a man. But women are strong. Gah, come on, you can do it, Kushina. Naruto. Line break. Unknown to those inside the cave, the last umbu fell as a masked man slipped through the walls of the cave. Line break. I can see the head. Biwako said, trying to comfort Kushina. Just a little more, Kushina. It's okay, Kushina, you're almost done. The Kyuubi offered from inside the seal as its perch on a miniature moon began to crumble. Naruto, come woo. Minato said as he tried to repair the seal. As the sound of wailing filled the room, Biwako hurried to wrap the newborn Naruto as she showed Kushina and Minato their new son. It's a healthy boy. Biwako said with a tender smile. Haha. I'm a father. Minato said with tears running down his cheeks. Naruto. I finally get to see you. Kushina whispered, exhausted from giving birth. Looks like it worked. No whisker marks and a nice tuft of red hair. The Kyuubi said from within the seal with no small amount of pride in its voice. It's not every day you modify the genetic makeup of a human. Whew, alright Kushina, you can relax now. Kurama, just sit tight, I'm fixing the seal. As Minato began to repair the seal, he was interrupted by Biwako's cry as she hit the floor. Turning around, he saw his newborn son in the arms of a man in a black cloak with a mask, with one hand over the baby's face. Yondiami Hokage Minato Namikaze, step away from the host, or your son dies at the ripe old age of 1 minute. How did he slip through the barrier, and what happened to the umbu stationed outside? Minato thought as he prepared to move at an instant's notice. Who on earth is he? To his side, his wife moaned in pain as she felt the seal begin to destabilize. Shit, whoever this guy is, he's good. He did his homework and put us in an extremely compromising position. The Kyuubi thought as it tried its best to re-establish the seal. Get away from the host. The masked man demanded as a kunai slipped into his hand. Or do you not care what happens to the brat? Wait, calm down. Minato said as he tried to find some way to stall for time. You're the one who needs to calm down, Minato. I myself am perfectly calm. Seeing as how Minato wasn't moving, the masked man threw Naruto in the air and tried to stab him with a kunai, but before he could, Minato speed past him and caught the baby in midair. As expected of the yellow flash, the sound of hissing was heard from the bottom of the blanket. But what about the next one? Grabbing the baby in one hand and the blanket in another, the yellow flash disappeared. Minato Naruto. Line break. In one of Minato's marked safe houses, a small house in the forest exploded and a man shielding a baby were thrown out by the force. Thank goodness! Naruto's unharmed. Grunting as he pulled a piece of wood out of his shin. He forced me to use the Hirae Shin. He's after Kushina and Kurama, and now I'm not with them. Gritting his teeth, Minato teleported to the next nearest safe house to put Naruto in a safe place. Line break. A secluded clearing. What do you want? Kushina said as she tried to stall for time until Minato arrived. Her seal, spread from her body, was wrapped around 4 stone pillars that surrounded a smaller rock in a lake as she was hung above the small rock. To take the Kyuubi from you and destroy Konoha. What? Kushina, this man has the Sharingan. He is going to take me from you. There is nothing we can do at this point. But if you were to willingly release the seal, it would give you some more time to live and give me one shot at ending him. Alright, but that probably means that you're going to be sealed into Naruto after this. The markings for Minato's Hirae Shin, which allowed for him to teleport to their location, were incorporated into your seal. I know, but that is still better than being under this one's control. That also means Minato will probably have to seal you in Naruto. Can you promise me something? Kushina asked Kurama as tears streamed down her face. Minato is always protecting you. What? Promise me that you will look after Naruto when I'm gone. But now I've gotten him away from you. The masked man gloated as his Sharingan appeared in the single eye hole of his mask. I promise. Furthermore, the seal is weakened after you gave birth. Do you know how long I've waited for this brief moment? And the land shook as the Kyuubi was released to the earth for the first time in almost 100 years. Line break. You'll be safe here. Minato said as he tucked little Naruto into a bed. Line break. Die. Kurama roared as he swung his claw at the masked man. Line break. Just wait here a bit, Naruto. Line break. The earth shook as the Kyuubi's blow crushed the area where the masked man stood. Something isn't right. Almost on cue, the masked man seemed to phase out of Kurama's hand. How interesting. I was told the Kyuubi was an irrational creature filled with hate. Drawled the masked man almost lazily as he made eye contact with the Kyuubi. Oh well. It makes no difference. Shit. Kushina, get away. The Kyuubi exclaimed as its eyes changed from their usual shape into a Sharingan before its pupils dilated completely. Just now the Kyuubi tried to defend you, and now I will use him to kill you. The masked man said as the hypnotized Kyuubi turned around and prepared to crush Kushina. Line break. I have to go save your mom. Line break. As the Kyuubi's claw approached Kushina, she closed her eyes thinking of her newborn child who would have to shoulder the burden of being the next Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. Naruto. However, when she opened her eyes again, she wasn't bloody paste on the floor but in the arms of her husband, and they were on a tree on a cliff. It appears you still have the flash, but it's still too late. The masked man mumbled as he prepared to move to Konoha. Minato. Naruto, is Naruto all right? Kushina panted out as she felt her life slowly leaving her. Yeah. He's all right. He's in a safe place now. Minato replied as he turned to glare at the masked man and the hypnotized Kyuubi. Minato, you have to stop that man and Kurama, he's heading for Konoha. Minato remained silent as he jumped back to the safe house he left Naruto at. He teleported again. It doesn't matter, we now head for Konoha. Line break. In the safe house where Minato left Naruto. Why? Kushina asked when she got a look as to where Minato has brought her. It's fine. Minato comforted Kushina even though he felt his own words rang hollow. You're with Naruto now. Naruto. Kushina cried as she pressed her forehead against his. Minato, watching his wife cry as she slowly died, clenched his fist as he prepared to go confront the masked man. Minato, one last thing before you go. Kurama, after he was released from the seal, he had one chance to attack the masked man before he was taken control of. The attack phased right through him, but it looks like he has to turn tangible to transport something. I think it's some kind of space-time jutsu. I understand. I'll be back soon. Minato, thank you. Line break. A 5-year-old Uchiha Itachi sat outside of his house's patio as his newborn brother Uchiha Sasuke, as a feeling of dread passed over both of them and Sasuke began to cry. Don't cry, Sasuke, as your big brother I'll always protect you, no matter what. Line break. In the streets on Konoha, two people were discussing a matter of grave importance. These two people were a 13-year-old Hatake Kakashi and Might Guy. Can't we just decide by rock, paper, scissors today? The white-haired Hatake drawled. Not that again? Can't we have a more youthful battle for once? Dare this author say it, youthful Might Guy screamed at the top of his lungs. Hey Guy, do you feel something weird? The air feels cold. Line break. Smoking a pipe, the aged third Hokage was looking at some paperwork when he sensed the Kyuubi's chakra. It can't be. Line break. Appearing in an ally, the masked man knelt down and the night that would be known forever as the day of the Kyuubi attack began. Kokiyos no Jutsu. Suddenly appearing in Konoha, the Kyuubi let out a might roar and began to destroy everything in sight. Line break. Sand aim Hokage-sama, an Umbu appeared, panicked the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi has suddenly appeared in the village. Dressing in his black battle armor, Sarutobi Hiruzen, once known as the god of shinobi, immediately took command. I know. I'll take care of it. You all protect those who can't fight. Yes sir. Karamadano, did you break the seal of your own volition or are you being controlled? Flashback. Kushina's mindscape. The 4th and 3rd Hokage stood with the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki in her mindscape, the Kyuubi having called to tell them something important. Hiruzen Sarutobi, Minato Namikaze, and Kushina Uzumaki, what I am about to tell you is something I have only willingly admitted to 3 others who were in turn your 1st and 2nd Hokages and my previous Jinchuriki. The 3 people in question looked around at each other. For only 3 other people to have known this, it must have been a pretty big secret. The reason you receive little to no fuss from me being sealed inside you is because it is something I myself asked for. That surprised them. What reason would a creature as powerful as the Kyuubi have for wanted to be sealed? During the Battle of the End, where Uchiha Madara Kurama spat out the name almost like it was a poison, fought your 1st Hokage, it was a little known fact that Madara controlled me using his Sharingan. Since there is a clan of those with the cursed eyes, I requested to be sealed inside your Shodame's wife because I could sense her powerful chakra and that my own would not harm her. It was mutual benefit. She would be able to call upon my chakra in her time of need and I would never again be controlled by those cursed eyes. Giving them a minute to let them possess this, the Kyuubi continued. Look at my eyes. You can see how they are vertical slits, correct? After receiving a round of nods, he continued. When I am under the influence of an Uchiha, my eyes either become round and dilated like you humans or there is a pattern of a Sharingan. End flashback. How did it come to this? Minato thought as he prepared to subdue the Kyuubi. One moment it seemed like his family would have a picture-perfect ending, the next, his wife was dying, his son was going to have to be made into the next Kyuubi Jinchuriki, as no one other than someone with Uzumaki could handle getting the Kyuubi sealed within them, and they had a serious information leakage. Before he could move, however, a hostile presence appeared behind him. Spinning around and lashing out with his Hirae Shinku, now he saw his attack pass through the man. That must be the intangibility ability Kushina warned me about. Minato thought as his hand was caught by the masked man. Since he turned tangible, that must mean he's planning to transport me. As the space around masked man's eyehole distorted, Minato reacted instantly and teleported. He jumped again. I'll have to suck him in the instant I touch him. Line break. Near the destroyed safe house, he knows I am one of the only people who could seal the Kyuubi, that's why he's coming for me. The Yondaime Hokage as he prepared for the masked man's arrival. The masked man arrived in a swirling vortex seconds after Minato finished his preparations. Not many people could break through our barriers and have space-time jutsu that advanced, not to mention you got though the Sandaimi's personal umbu like they were fresh genin, not many people could do that. Who are you? Minato asked as he shifted to a battle stance. Then again, I guess it doesn't really matter who you are, but then the question would be why you're attacking Konoha. I guess you could say it was on a whim and for a plan. The masked man said, and he pulled down his hood and revealed a battle chain attached to his wrists. But I will say it was for war, and through that war peace. For a whim and for a plan, that means either that he has some plan for the Kyuubi and attacked Konoha on a whim, or he has some plan that involves weakening Konoha and getting the Kyuubi was just the means. There is no hope was all the masked man could say before a kunao phased through his head. It doesn't matter. I'll end him to eliminate a threat to Konoha all the same. Revenge for my family is just the cherry on top. Line break speed is, while one of the fundamental aspects of combat, one of the most important. Maybe in an all-out brawl with no weapons or armor, strength and stamina would also as important, but neither of those could help you when a knife slits your throat. While the yondaime might not have the destructive wood and water ninjutsu power of the shot aim and nidaime respectively, or the jutsu arsenal of the sandaime, his speed, unrivaled in the elemental nations, his sealing skills, which included his famous high shin which let him teleport instantly to a special seal that he could tag on people/things, and his raise non, an original jutsu that let him grind through any defense, all combined to make him a near unstoppable juggernaut in battle and first shinobi to be elevated to a SS rank in the bingo book and given a flee on-sight order. This is something the masked man, Tobi, Madara or whatever the hell he wanted to be called, was experiencing firsthand. Shit. I don't know what exactly this seal is doing, but I have to get out of here. Tobi thought as he blocked another knife strike to his neck as a kunao passed through him. The seal that Tobi was referring to earlier was a seal spread out on the ground that Minato prepared before Tobi arrived. Basically what it did was interfere with his space-time jutsu, making it so he could only turn one part of his body intangible at a time. While it didn't stop it completely, it did stop him from simply turning intangible whenever the yondaime lunged at him. At the moment he was beginning to feel like a cornered rat. The kunao spread around the seal let Minato teleport to him whenever he got close to the boundary, and when he tried to just suck himself into his own dimension he just got smacked down before he could finish moving. So far he managed to avoid any fatal wound and getting tagged, but it was only a matter of time. This is taking too long. Minato thought as he sliced at Tobi with one arm and finally tagged him with the other arm. There. Teleporting behind Tobi he smashed him into the ground with a raise non while simultaneously putting a contract seal on him. Shit. The Kyuubi. Tobi thought as the raise non exploded, cratering the ground and kicking up dust everywhere. Line break in Konoha, the Leaf Ninja were putting up a valiant effort against the Kyuubi, but it wasn't known as the strongest of the Biju for nothing. Hundreds had already died at its claws and the destruction of Konoha seemed all but inevitable when suddenly the Kyuubi jerked as if it had been struck by something massive. Noticing this, all the Konoha ninja jumped back as it jumped back outside of Konoha's walls before it lifted one clawed hand and grabbed its head. Line break with Minato and Tobi as the dust began to clear. A figure jumped out holding its arm. Landing on a rock that was sticking out of the now destroyed ground, the figure was revealed to be a badly injured and panting Tobi. Ha, hi, ha. Shit, even with all the training Madara gave me I still can't match up to sensei. Turning towards Konoha, Tobi thought. That last attack, if the seal hadn't been disrupted by the raise non and if I hadn't made myself intangible before that raise non exploded. Dripping blood, the area around Tobi's mask began to distort and suck him in. In my current state, going for the Kyuubi would be suicide. You won this battle, sensei. But I still won the war and I'll be back for the spoils. Line break in Konoha, Kushios, food cart destroyer. Suddenly appearing out of nowhere, Gamabunta flattened the Kyuubi. Seeing the toad boss, all the Konoha ninja regained hope. It's Yondaime-sama. Yondaime-sama's here to stop the Kyuubi. Almost as soon as Gamabunta appeared, the Kyuubi disappeared. Minato, appearing from atop the toad boss's head, jumped and down-handed Sarutobi a scroll before disappearing. Curious at what the scroll contained, the sandaime opened the scroll, scanning it before his eyes widened and burning the scroll. Gritting his teeth, Sarutobi located Minato's chakra signature and sped after him. What the scroll contained at the front of his mind. Masked man with Sharinon attacked after birth released QB drove off masked man sealing QB take care of my son. Line break miles away from Konoha, URG. I'm guessing you beat the man with the mask. My head is pounding. Yeah ha. I need to put up a barrier so no one interferes. I'm almost out of chakra. Let me. I still have plenty of chakra. Kushina said as chains shot out of her back, crossing to form a makeshift barrier. I'm guessing you plan to seal me in the child. The QB said as it saw Minato summon a ceremonial pedestal. Wait, that's the Hakashiki Fun, 8 trigrams dead demon seal. You'll die if you use that. Kushina exclaimed. What are you doing, Minato? There's no reason for you to use that seal. The QB said just as surprised as Kushina. There is a reason. First is that I don't plan on just making this a seal. Minato began to explain as he ran through seals. If Naruto had been born without the Uzumaki bloodline, I would have had to seal half of your chakra in the death god with me, but since he was, I don't need to. While the seal will dilute your chakra to stop it from unintentionally harming Naruto's undeveloped coils, once it is released and Naruto can handle your undiluted chakra, it will then work as a gate. With it you and Naruto will be able to use a form far more powerful than a simple full possession. Wait, why would he need that? I thought you defeated the masked man. I did, but I couldn't finish him. I realized two things today: the masked man who attacked you, he will bring catastrophe upon us, and this child is the one who will stop him. Minato said as he finished the last seal and summoned the death god to seal the QB into Naruto. Any last words? I'll seal the rest of both your and my chakra in Naruto after I use the Shiki Fun so we can meet him when he's older. I also want you to help him control the QB's chakra, but that will be far into the future. Naruto, don't be a picky eater, eat heartily, so you grow up big and strong, take a bath every day and keep warm, make sure you get enough sleep, make friends, true friends you can really trust, and as for women, don't fall for a strange one, find a woman like your mom, and don't become a pervert like Jiraiya. Naruto, you will face many painful times, and hard times, but just be yourself, and have your dreams and the confidence to make those dreams come true. I really wish I could be there, to teach you so many more things. I really wish I could be with you longer. I love you. Naruto, as your father. I'll just second everything your mom said. Minato said before he looked up at the QB. No Kurama, you'll be there to watch him for us, right, like a godparent, right? Yet I'll make sure to watch him, but since that pervert sensei of yours is his godfather, would that make me his godmother? Kurama joked with a grin. Hey, yet. I guess it would. Alright, are you ready, Kushina? Kurama. Yet. Yes. Fun.